Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Trina Martin, who is currently in the process of wrapping up her first book, From a Mess to Amazing, 7 Steps to Create a Life You Deserve. Trina, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Paul, for having me.
Are you ready to get started?
I am.
All right. Question number 1. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
I would say get a good editor. I learned in my process that a good editor will make your book even better. It will help clarify your message and just make it pop, because when you're writing it, you have one thing in mind, but the editor is going to come behind you and read it, and they have no kind of context to it or anything. So they'll be able to say, right, I don't understand this right here. Can you expound on this? Or I don't think that's relevant. So I think a good editor is the key piece to your book.
And what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
Learning all the steps. And when I say that, I mean, so I wrote my book, I got an editor, I got a designer, and then I realized, okay, what do I do next? I got this book, so what am I going to do? So yes, you got to do the marketing, but no one ever tells you that, okay, these are all the things you need to do. So I think really researching and learning the steps in the process is vital.
And I think you bring up a great point too. It's not just about the publishing side, it's also about the marketing, because when I launched my first book 4 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. Had to learn everything I could about publishing, but then also had to learn everything possible about marketing. So I'd spend half the day learning about publishing, and then the other half of the day learning about the marketing side, because if you don't have both of those together working in concert, then you're going to be in for a rough time.
Yes.
Well, speaking of marketing, I'd like to know, what is your marketing strategy that you are planning to use for your book launch that you feel is going to work well?
Well, just like you, I'm a podcaster as well. So I have been promoting the book on my show, as well as doing short shows like yours, where I'm giving the pre-launch information, so to speak, saying, hey, it's upcoming, I have a book. And I've also been posting on social media. So like my Facebook page, I've been kind of keeping my audience abreast of what's going on. So I said, hey, my cover is done. This is what it looks like. And just to get buzz created and, let them know that, hey, it's coming out soon. So I've been finding that that's been well received.
Excellent. I think that's one of the best things, too, is walking people through the journey, and they can see exactly everything that you're going through the writing part, the publishing part, and the marketing part. Just gives great synergy to building that relationship with your audience.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of books, I'd like to know, what is your favorite book, and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
My favorite book currently is Crushing by Bishop T.D. Jakes. And basically he talks about how the things that you go through that you think just are devastating are used to get you to certain steps in your life and to empower you. And that's my favorite book right now, and it applies to me in so many different levels. So I'm really liking that book.
And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is, "It always seems impossible until it's done," and that's by Nelson Mandela. And that is just encouragement, because we all have that. We all have a fear of doing something or thinking that we're not good enough. And then when we actually get out there and do it and we accomplish what we set out to do, then you look back and you go, why was I afraid? Why did I doubt myself? So I think that quote is it's something that I live my life by.
Excellent. Well, Trina, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
Go to my website, and it's trinamartin.com. bestsellingauthorschool.com, and there you'll see my platforms, you'll see everything that my services, products, things like that, and you'll be able to connect with me that way.
Trina, thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you, Paul, for having me.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how you can be featured in our brand new Get Published business book, go to getpublishedpodcast.com.